Hello, everyone. Richard Carlton here. I don't know if you could hear me with that screeching behind me. Welcome to fmtraining.tv, where every day we're doing great FileMaker training and using it in practical applications. So, Margaret, you hear me okay? Yeah?
Yeah,
Oops.
I do. You sound great, actually. I don't hear any screeching.
Okay, great.
So.
You don't hear the screech? Okay, cool. So, what we are here at fmtrain.tv, Monday at 1 o'clock Pacific time, Monday through Friday, where we're training and talking and learning about the FileMaker platform. And so in this specific moment, you're watching a project that I've been actively working on for a while. And how many CEOs do you know that can actually are certified as well as can eat their own dog food? So in this situation, this is a helicopter maintenance facility. So it's like really fancy mechanic type people, but they have a lot of federal regulation they have to deal with to make sure that as they repair the aircraft, they're also repaired to federal standards. So anyway, over on the other side, they've got computer access to, guess what? FileMaker, woo! So anyway, so very exciting here. And so I am here to do a couple things, is to help facilitate the initial user introduction usage of the software. So if it doesn't make sense, they don't just grab the keyboard and start beating people with the keyboard, right? They actually have a chance to intervene and talk to them and explain to them how the software works. But ideally, if you do a great job with FileMaker, it should be self-evident as to how things work. So that's kind of that kind of thing. So today, the broadcast schedule. Today, we're going to be covering some MonkeyBread updates, 13.2 release with the FileMaker 23 release. The next week, we got more Nick Hunter from Greece. Then Thursday next week, we got Postman. And then Friday, we're going to be we're going to come back next Friday and talk about the shenanigans that are going on here at with this customer and the things you have to think about as you do a live rollout with FileMaker software into a shop environment. So if I just pan around here real quick, you can see that the hangar doors are here. They're working on all sorts of projects. These are all in various states of disassembly and repair. So yeah, pretty wild stuff. So Christian Schmidt, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
We're here to talk about, now here's the deal. This is the practical application of the MonkeyBread software. So people like these, they come to me and say, hey, I want to take a camera and I want to go over here to this part on this box right here. We're going to take the picture of this part of the box because this is the part that goes in the helicopter. We've got to document this with our picture and stuff. So FileMaker by itself doesn't do that. But when you take the MonkeyBread plugin, it extends, it allows you to, this is that conversation from a week ago. I said, how do we get a picture of some item into the system? Well, the software by itself won't do that, but with a third-party plugin, it does that, right? So as a FileMaker developer, doing this for 33 years, I'm always looking to how to say yes to customers. Instead of him up there saying, hey, how do I take a picture? And I'm saying, oh, I'm sorry, we can't do that. You'll have to use some other company's other software. I get to say yes. So anytime you say no, no bueno, okay? Christian Schmidt, are you there? Are you ready to take over command? Margaret, are we good here?
Yeah, we are.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm here. So...
And if I mute myself, it's because they're drilling on, sounds like they're drilling teeth or something, but they're drilling on the jet engine in the helicopter.
Okay, let me share the screen. So welcome to my screen. And today the topic is the new plugin release, which you probably all downloaded already and played with.
I haven't got the 13.2. I have 13.1, but every time you make the product better, I get to say yes to people like this. So I deeply appreciate the updates. Seriously. I mean that. Scout's honor. On Stack of Bibles, I believe, yes, true, all true.
Okay, so first change in the plugin is we updated some things for 2023. So the new FileMaker version has a few little changes. So the plugin has to be adjusted. For example, you may remember that we have comments, which can include links. And for these links, you may use the FMP URL. So you may have something like this, whatever. Point to a server, point to a database. You can have a link in your documentation.
I have a question. I'm waving my hands vigorously over here. In FileMaker 23, did they still have, like, we had FMP and we had FMP 19? Is there an FMP 20 or is it FMP 23, or did they drop that?
They have FMP. Oh, let me look. So let's
Because we
take a
were
look
asking about this
on
yesterday. We didn't know.
FileMaker. So if you open FileMaker app and look on the contents, you can look on the info P list.
Okay.
And here you find the document types they support. So there's a FMP12 for the database, and FMP SL for the snapshot,
Snapshot link.
FM plugin, FM
Yeah.
add-on,
Yeah.
FOB,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
that's a label file,
Yeah.
and so on. And then you can look for FMP 19, no, FMP 20, FMP 20. So here you find
It
the
is
URL
FMP
types.
20. Okay. Yeah. See, this is why. Yeah. So they were talking about getting rid of this, and I think they reversed their decision on this, right? They were trying to. I don't have Claris here. Claris did not make the travel transit to me to the helicopter maintenance facility. Otherwise, Claris would be saying here to you, we're going to get rid of 19 and all the numbers because you should only have the latest version installed and it should magically work. That was their executive team and made that executive decision. Somewhere in here, they determined that they would keep supporting the specific numbers because real developers don't just have the latest version. We have several versions back on our computer, right, Christian Schmidt? So,
Yeah.
All right, keep going, Christian.
So I personally have on this Mac, I have, where is it? FileMaker 18, I have FileMaker 14, 16, 16, 15. So I have a couple of versions. So here, yeah, sort by name. So you see,
Yeah,
I
I think the
collect them
oldest
all.
version I still have on some computer is 17, but I appreciate your Pokemon collection of FileMaker.
Yeah, there's always something to see. So you may have an FMP URL in your help here. And I had to change the plugin, of course, to allow you to have, for example, here, different URLs. So the Claris URL is for Claris Pro, of course. But otherwise, we have the URL, we have the link here. And if you click the link, the plugin will try to open the URL, which would then need to be valid, of course. So this would be something like the server, and then the database file, maybe some username to use, and yeah.
Cool.
So whatever URL you have. This is one of the changes. Then our window functions identify which windows belong to FileMaker, and we had to change them because the class name on Windows includes the version number. So instead of 19, it's now 20. Then in the script workspace, I had to do a few changes to get the coloring working better. Because, well, whenever they change a little thing, I have to adjust the plugin. Then you get functions and new script steps and a few other smaller things. So you can use technically the plugin from a few months ago on the latest FileMaker version, but a few functions may break because I silently updated the things, and we usually don't comment about this much. Well, I've been testing the new version for a few months already. Then also in work for the last 2 years is the Linux ARM version of the plugin. So if you happen to have a Linux server, like this one here, this one. So yeah. So let me just open my terminal. So uname on keyboard. So this is just an Ubuntu 22. I have FileMaker server installed here. Just the recent version. And we have the plugin installed. So we have here configuration, connectors, plugins. Here you see we have the plugin installed for normal server use. When you do that, you copy the plugin. So let's see where I put the plugin. So there's opt, FileMaker, FileMaker server, database server, extensions, and I put my ARM version of the plugin here. And how would you know whether this is an ARM version or not? Well, you can just use a terminal Mac or on Linux, and just use the file command and then drop in whatever plugin file you have and press return. And it will tell you that this is an ARM version of the library. So you can see that. You can also check this on Mac. So I can open the terminal on Mac. Can also here drop in the ARM version and the Intel version. I think a few people will run into this, that they install the wrong plugin on the wrong platform. Note that we have two of them.
But
So
even
here's
so-
ARM, and here it says x86-64. Yeah. So you can. This is also helpful on the Windows versions, of course, that you can just ask here, and it tells you, yeah, this is a Windows thing, and it's a 64-bit version versus the older one.
No, that's
So the
awesome
file
that you
command
do
can
that.
be very useful here. I also put in the DynaPDF library and the libxl library here for the ARM versions. So you can use all our XL and DynaPDF commands on Linux too.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, then when you install the plugin, don't forget that the web publishing folder is there, and there in web publishing, in publishing engine, in CVPC and plugins. You can also copy the plugin, as well as here in the VIP folder. That's also a plugins folder. So the VIP folder is here for the data API. The other one is for web publishing or web direct. And FileMaker doesn't show the plugin here. So it's installed, it doesn't show up, but an easy way to see whether the plugin was loaded is actually to just take a look in the logs folder. Because here in the logs folder, you find things like data API, server scripting, and web. And those files are made by the plugin, and we can just double-click a file and take a look, and it says here MBS plugin loaded for server scripting.
That is fantastic.
So the log is useful. So yeah, so how do you know whether your script is running on an ARM CPU? Well, let me just see if I can get a connection. So hope this is the right one. So what's the secret password? Probably admin.
I would assume admin.
Admin, another admin. Yeah, admin, as usual. And so this is, well, I use for my personal test server. I don't care for anything. I have a firewall which keeps people out. So let's see. This is a test script. It calls the trace function to log plugin calls, which can always be very useful. We query the version, we query a platform, we query where the plugin is located. And now let's add another call here and say system info, and there is an isArm call, which would tell you whether the CPU is, well, ARM or not, as well as there is we have an isLinux function, I think. Yeah. So now we can run this on the server. And you may notice that I don't care for the output because we will just look in the trace log. Run on server. Perform. And on server, you always have this thing that you are basically running blind. So I can just run this. I don't know what happened. The script did maybe work. So let's take a look on the log. And there it is. So we called the trace function, and the trace function immediately starts to, well, log the plugin calls. So whenever the plugin logs a function call, it also shows here which script is using the plugin. So it's script test in the file contexts. We log the call, then we create the version, we see the version number, the platform, the plugin path, whether it's ARM, yeah, and Linux, yeah. So if you write your own server scripts, you may use this trace log as well as just use our log function. So you can just have in the script a call to log and say, hello world, whatever you like. Or you can output something like account and output whatever text you like, not name. And if you run that, you also get reload. You get your log messages here in the log file. So here the standard error server scripting log can be extended by you by using our log command.
That's really cool.
I have a lot of scripts where we have a problem, but the script is running on the server, so we don't know what's going wrong. So we start just to log all the different things that may be interesting, like variables, like last error states. Put in log messages just to see how far the script gets.
Oh, that's clever. That would, yeah, that's really cool.
So it would have something before a loop, in a loop, after the loop. So you would see where it stops. Okay. If you have questions, stop me.
Yeah, no, people are agreeing that this is cool.
Okay, let's go back here. So you may want to use the Linux version of the FileMaker on ARM because your AWS instance for ARM CPUs are cheaper. And of course, if you have a MacBook like I do, you may want to use Parallels, Ubuntu, Parallels or VMware, or one of the open source applications like UTM to run a virtual machine. It's just handy to have a server with you on the go so you can develop something in the train or in the airplane or whatever. Yeah. And this may be the first and currently only plugin supporting Linux on ARM. Could that be?
I would not be surprised if that was the case.
Yeah. Yeah, it has been in the works for some time. So, okay, the next thing is Windows. I think we talked about that before in a live stream. So the plugin has a few new Windows PDF functions. And this is a library provided by Microsoft since Windows 10 for previewing PDFs. It's also the thing FileMaker uses in version 20 to generate previews of PDFs on Windows. So you're using it whether you use the plugin or not. The plugin has a handy function to add a preview to an existing PDF. So if you have a PDF imported within the file, it doesn't have a preview. But you can use the plugin to add a preview. And on Windows, you would use PDF generate preview function. Just pass in your PDF without preview, get back one with preview. The function also works on Mac and iOS because internally we also use PDFKit generate preview. So I have the same function. One is for Mac, one is for Windows, but whichever you call, it automatically calls the other one if you're on the wrong platform.
That's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah, this makes existing code work on Windows.
So functional.
Yeah.
You don't have to recode anything.
Yeah, so internally it switches to the other function if needed, which I think was a convenient thing to have. And if you need consistent PDF previews with DynaPDF, you can also use the DynaPDF generate preview function.
So are all of the new window PDF functions like that? Do they have an opposing equal Mac one that automatically swaps depending on the platform you're on?
This was only for the preview here.
That makes sense.
The PDFKit functions can do a little bit more because all the things Microsoft implemented are covered here.
Got it.
They don't do much, but they allow you to load a PDF from a container or a file. Then you can query the page count and loop over the pages, ask for their height or width, And then you can also use PageBox. And PageBox allows you to query the art box, the bleed box, the crop box, media box, and trim box. And if you want to know, the media box usually is your paper size. And when you print it, then the graphics usually goes above what you would cut it, and cutting is a crop box. And so there are different boxes defined. Mostly we use media box for the paper and crop box where to cut the paper, and the other boxes are only interesting for the people printing. Like how far should the ink go? The bleed box. Art box defines where the main thing is in the PDF. And trim box is like crop box, but for something else. I forgot the detail. But some printing people will know.
People who need it will know what it is.
Yeah, so you may want to apply the crop box, like if you want to show something about the sizes, you can say the paper size is this, and the output size of the finished whatever flyer or whatever you print is the crop box. Then you can render a picture for every page. So you got a function, you put in a page number, you can ask for here JPEG, PNG, BMP, TIFF, GIF, HIVE, and a file name optionally, and you can ask for a certain resolution. So if you use the built-in functionality in FileMaker 20, you will just always get 72 dpi, I think. So you will use the plugin if you want a higher number. Also, the plugin can render you an image at a certain size. So you can say, I have this space available, I want a picture to fill it. And then it will proportionally scale down or scale up the picture. So, yeah.
Again, super useful.
Yeah. Okay, and you can ask the zoom level for a page. Rotation may also be interesting. That's a function. So I got this test installation of Windows here, and just let's see. There's an example file. Sort by name. Yeah, Win only. And there is a Win PDF test file. Let's see. Does it open? Yeah, it opens. So I need a PDF file. A PDF file. Let's take here plugin installation. I can just drop it there. Okay. So, oh yeah, we have two variants. There is a version for Windows 7 too. So I still have customers using older versions of Windows, and the current plugin requires Windows 8 or newer, because well, current FileMaker needs it anyway. So why not? And all this new functionality, like here PDF or OCR and machine learning, that's all needing Windows 10 anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So let's try again. Yeah.
There you go.
So if you install the Windows 7 version, this functionality is disabled because I have to remove it from the compilation process and build a smaller plugin with that functionality disabled. And then the plugin loads on Windows 7. And if you get this plugin for Windows 7, it doesn't have the PDF function.
It makes sense.
Okay.
Literally impossible.
So, problem solved. Okay. This example shows you how to, get preview pictures for all the pages here. And this may already be quite useful for people. If you need more on PDF, you may check our DynaPDF functions, because they can do much more.
Still, it's a lot of extra functionality that FileMaker does not come with. Yeah, Scott Kane, that preview PDF function for Windows alone is worth the price of the plugin.
Yeah, welcome. Okay, then next things we have. We got DynaPDF functions, new functions handling JavaScript. So
I didn't know you could even add JavaScript to PDFs.
Okay, yeah, a PDF document can have JavaScript. And you add some piece of JavaScript code into the list of JavaScript snippets in your PDF, and then you can create a JavaScript action, like this example here. This example creates 3 text fields, and you can type in numbers there, and then there is a little JavaScript here to calculate the sum of the 3 fields and put it in this sum field. So this is a PDF document with a form with 4 fields, and top 3 are input and 1 output field for the calculation. So, and you can do this with DynaPDF and well, have forms with some kind of validation, or like here on calculation. So there are different events, like you can have some JavaScript do something on open, on close of the document, when you focus on element, or if you press a key. So you can do a lot of programming in a PDF, but this needs a PDF engine with JavaScript. So you're basically limited to Adobe Reader or Acrobat Reader or Acrobat Pro itself. So
still, that's kind of wild.
So I have a few customers which use PDFs with JavaScript inside, so they enjoy making such PDFs. And we got all this new JavaScript functionality. Like there's a get JavaScript function, so you can loop over the JavaScript in a PDF file. And for people who may suspect a PDF may be bad, you can actually delete all the JavaScripts from the PDF. So if you have a PDF from somewhere and you want to clean up, you can remove the JavaScript parts.
You don't want to.
Okay, I missed that. I feel like I'm really stupid. That I did not know you could embed JavaScript into PDF. Is that a known thing? I guess it is.
Yeah, it is. It's been for years.
Yeah, I'm kind of new to JavaScript. So you have a command that can add JavaScript.
Yeah, we have a couple of functions to delete stuff in a PDF, and deleting all the JavaScript can be a thing if you want to.
Well, what would you do with JavaScript in a PDF? You would use it to autofill things in, or auto.
You make calculations like we had create JS action. So we have this example here, which creates 3 text fields, and then uses JavaScript here to calculate the sum.
It's more than a PDF. It's almost like a really super light application, almost, right?
Yeah. It's like you have this 3 input fields and 1 output field, and then you have this on calc trigger here to run this JavaScript to calculate the new value for the sum field. You know,
we should do a live stream just on this topic. This would be very popular. Just on the job. Are you much of a JavaScript guy, or not really?
Just for my own use.
Okay, because we're doing JavaScript every Thursday, right? Is this kind of ongoing repeating class that we're doing, right? And so
but JavaScript is just the syntax, the language defined. What you also would have to learn is here the special commands from Acrobat. So you would have to look up the commands like get field, and you would actually have to look up the documentation about this on calc event, so you could see what is the input, what is the output. So you're supposed to just put your result into event.value. But you have to have the documentation to know that there is something named event.
Got it. Okay.
So this is some object with parameters. So you would probably also have the possibility to ask the event for like the current mouse position, or whether the field is active or not, or something like that. So you could make decisions.
Could you use this to create a PDF form and grab what people insert into FileMaker?
Yeah, of course. So we have an example to get field values, but you would just use get field. Get field. So there's a get field function, and as JSON also, and you can just call get field. You pass in the name of the field in the PDF and the value you like, and there's a value which contains the text. Or the newer thing is here to just have a JSON And this will give you a JSON with all the properties about all the fields, including the values. So we had
So
that
that would allow you
before.
to,
We have,
yeah.
since you asked about it, so we go here, DynaPDF examples. There's a form folder. There's our template.
Oh, it's all right here. This is
Doesn't
awesome.
this work?
This is awesome.
Why can't I type something? There I can type. So, okay. Yeah, I might just undo. So we have this example here. So we can here. Yeah. It's looking for the library here.
The DynaPDF
which
library.
is not yet loaded, so it looks in this folder. Okay. So let's see, does it work? Yeah. So we can export this record into our file, desktop here. So we have the data from the record in the fields. And let's change here.
So you created a PDF and you pre-populated the data. Wow.
Yeah. So I don't know why this template has a style. I don't know. It doesn't matter. So you can style it. Like you can create the template PDF in Acrobat if you like. So whatever PDF application you like.
Can I, Margaret, you want to like post this out for the buzzes if people are listening here? I don't know who's actually here listening, but it seems to me that creating a PDF, giving it to someone to collect data, and then giving it back to you and having you slurp the data out of it would be probably, to really dive into it, would be a good 1 hour show for us to kick around.
Okay. So let me just make another change. I put here testing. I put some other text in there, save it. I say here import changes. And I get the testing text here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Mario. This is really cool.
Did you see here?
Yeah.
Where's the ID? How does it know which record to use? Now, that's a simple thing. The PDF has a hidden field.
Has a hidden primary key.
Yeah, there's a hidden field named ID. And so we get this ID, we look for the record, and then we update the values.
All right, so I know that we're throwing this kind of sideways out. This is like Christian Schmidt going, oh, and while you're at it, if you press this button, it'll give you the winning lottery numbers and you'll be a millionaire. And then in the next, and it just like says that for like 12 seconds, and he moves on to the next bullshit. And so this right here, what you just did, I can't tell you, this comes up quite a few times with people, right? Because the flip side of getting data into FileMaker is that they're going to fill out a web page. They could try to do it with Claris Studio. So then you have to code it or try to use better forms or worse forms. So you got worse forms, you got better forms, you've got Claris Studio, you got writing your own PHP with a DAPI wrapper library thing, or you can do PDFs. PDFs might be pretty easy, but we would need we need to build it from beginning to end over the course of the event. Margaret, does anyone else besides me think this is a good idea?
I got like 6 buzzes automatically, so yeah.
6 buzzes automatically. Well, that's and remember, for every one person that buzzes, there's 5 other people who thought they should buzz, but they're just too lazy to type the buzz button, so that we have to guess that they're buzzing.
Question: Where is it?
You can combine this, of course. You can make this PDF automatically for every customer. You can email this PDF to the customer with text in there. Please make changes and then reply.
Can you actually have it post the data after they type it in on the PDF and hit like almost like a web page and have them post it?
Yeah, you can have a submit button. Submit.
That way, because trying to get them to return it to you in an email. But if they're on the internet, they could type it in and just, it's almost like a web form.
Yeah, submit. Let me look. So DynaPDF has here the thing like a submit action, where you can put in the URL of the server. I would have to check if I already have this function in the plugin. I can just edit if someone needs it. Yeah, because the library has it. I'm just adding my 10-line wrapper to take your text and your URL and
Well, think about it, because this would be an end-to-end demo. You'd want to, I mean, the use case, here's the use case. So let's try this out. So this company here sends out a quote to the customer. And the customer, they want these guys to sign it and return it. So they could go to a web page, but if you could have it kick out a PDF and email the PDF to the person, including a spot on the PDF where you capture their signature, then they press a button at the bottom. So instead of them mailing the PDF back to you, the PDF goes, haha, I'm a secret web page, and it sucks it all into a post command and shoots it to the DAPI backend on FileMaker server. That would be, I guarantee that my company would use that.
okay,
No one else will probably use it. No one else does FileMaker, just me.
So yeah, let's schedule a new session for this, and I will add the function to the plugin and
yeah, see if you can do and the other person we might get, Margaret, we might talk to Leland about this, because he's your DAPI. He's the DAPI guy. He was doing JSON DAPI. He was doing this yesterday, but not with PDFs. He was just sending the commands to DAPI to do a DAPI. So I'll call and talk to him about kind of this idea. If he can come up with the generic stuff, that way you don't have to really worry about it.
Yeah, we'd have to check what format the data is sent. So we may need
It'd be JSON. It's JSON based, and then we shoot it to out of the idea out of the PDF. It goes across the internet.
Yeah, to a PHP or whatever script.
Ever since Claris changed to PHP, the data API is the backend. It's this endpoint backend, this modernized endpoint backend. We could send it to that. That would be just amazing.
Yeah, but you need something where you can send it anonymously, so there is no login. It's
it'd have to
one
post
HTTP request with post with the data in some format you don't know, and maybe just key value. And then you have a script which takes this and does something useful.
Yeah, you have to triage it out of that. Probably in an ideal world, you submit it to a separate FMP12 file running on the FileMaker server. So people try to target that and attack it. It's a single self-contained file. And then you can go with scripts to get the data out. Because once it's in FileMaker, we all know how to get, move data out of FileMaker, move it around, copy that primary key, come over, load the data. That's not the hard part. It's just getting it back into FileMaker. Once you're there, then our normal skill set that we've all been developing for years comes into play, right? So
we do have a quick question.
There's a question. Go, Margaret.
Where is the text stored? Inside of the PDF as JSON?
No, it's not JSON. It's whatever PDF standard defines. I don't see it here. Let me just change the script a little bit.
The insides of a PDF fundamentally look like XML, right? They're kind of like that kind of coding.
So let's see.
It's their own thing, but it's kind of an open standard to a degree, as much as Adobe would like to pretend it's not an open standard.
That compression level. So there is, if you debug something with PDF, you can say here compression level 0, which means no compression. So I can export it again. And then this is an uncompressed PDF. So I can actually read things here. And now I can look for Peter, and there's Peter.
Okay, so it's like clear text. So compression level. So when you output a PDF, you can set compression levels, which will kind of like try to zip it down and make it small. But if you set compression level 0, it's not going to compress it at all, and it should be clear text as much as it is clear text.
Yeah,
so Peter was Peter,
and
but
font not.
Yeah.
So, but the normal commands here, like here the Peter and the road, where is it? The water city. There's a city field.
Yeah,
Denver.
so it's
Denver is here. There's another Denver for the email. Yeah, here. So the values are all there inside the PDF stream.
Yeah.
Normally this is compressed.
Compressing is unreadable.
Yeah, and the PDF is huge.
Yeah, this is a good idea. I just have to talk to Leland and see if we can get with him that we'll build the database. We'll just submit it in that copy of starting point he has, Margaret. We'll use that. Then we'll combine like the talents of 2 highly brilliant people to make one awesome live stream.
So where's my, okay. So Windows, Dyna PDF, we got the PDF functions. We got tab length and tag PDF. Oh, tag PDF, yeah. So if you set the PDF version, so if you have a customer asking for a specific PDF version, like they may not need just 1.5 or 1.7, they want something like PDFX-3 from 2002. Or they now may want to have PDF UA-1. If the customer says they want it, you can make it with the plugin. The key thing with the UA standard is it's an accessibility standard. So your PDF needs to have tags. So the tags thing is just a lot of work for you to code, because you would have to add commands when you create the PDF to add tags here, like open tag, close tag, and then declare the next element coming is maybe a section, a heading like HTML. So you declare what function a part has. Next is a note or quote or reference. This way, a screen reader for a blind person can read the PDF.
That's cool.
And here we added it because there was a government here in a nearby state which requires this for new projects. So the PDFs produced there must have the standard
accessibility. Yeah, it's a 509 standard in the United States or whatever they call that. I can't remember the number, but yeah, if you have a government funded deal or a government funded contract, they want you to have that way. If you're visually impaired or hearing impaired, things like that, you can kind of use the computer, and the computer knows how to walk its way. That's something that's kind of a real hack. If I was impaired, it's not a great experience, but if they had an AI, it's just that I was just thinking about this while you're talking about this. This is where an AI would get in there and actually look at a form and try to make it more comprehensible to someone. But yeah, but for the time being, you have to manually do it, and that's how you're going to do it with this.
Yeah. Okay. So you would, for example, say open tag with a P for paragraph, and then you write some text, and then you close it.
Cool.
That's it. If the customer pays for it, you can say yes to them and use the plugin. We have the example to show you a lot of things, but let me show you how we make a WebP. So let's say you have a picture and you load the picture, of course. So I may copy here the scripts. So you load the picture, you want to save it as a WebP, and we have our function to, so first I should say WebP is a format for picture files used on the web, optimized for the web, and I think heavily promoted by Google. So some people may want to use it. Maybe your FileMaker solution uploads picture to a CMS on the website. So you may need to make this this format. So make new record and commit. Here is the WebP file. That's the wrong file name.
Oh yeah, I was going to ask. That is Apple's kind of supporting that. The older operating systems don't support. Well, see there, it's not.
So the first problem is FileMaker doesn't display WebP.
Yeah, I noticed that.
So, but here it is, and I can open it. I can look here, and it tells me
because the operating system supports it. WebP. Yeah. Okay. Right.
So the next thing is you can, of course, turn this back and make a convert to your PNG or whatever sample script by just loading and saving in the new format. And then we have it back.
Okay.
So this is just a little addition for another file format we can read now. We can convert to
so MonkeyBread 13.2 supports WebP conversions and stuff. Oh.
So there's a feature request I asked Claris for, and that's here. When we have a WebP, they don't display it. If I include a JPEG, they could display the JPEG. So in the container, I could have several parts, and but they don't display the JPEG if it's a WebP and a JPEG. But for PDFs, they would display the preview, or if you have a TIFF picture, If you have a TIFF and a JPEG in a container, they show the JPEG as a preview. But MongoDB is a feature which a lot of people can use. Like yesterday, we talked about the new audit feature in Claris FileMaker 20. And it produced a JSON, and you don't want to store the audit log in the same database. So you could just throw all the JSONs from the auditing into a MongoDB with our plugin. So new here is a few helper functions, like here, container to binary. So you pass in your container field, you get back a JSON with a binary version of this data, so you can directly add it to a JSON for sending it to the MongoDB. We also got a new function to convert time. Oh, and here that's now UTC. So this will make you a date value with the current time, as well as here the time conversion function uses whatever time you pass in to convert to the time format used for the MongoDB. So if you have a need to connect to MongoDB with FileMaker directly, you want to find documents, you want to add new records to the MongoDB, maybe use one of the watch functions to look for changes in your MongoDB, you can use our plugin to do a lot of things there.
Oh, which is fantastic. And you can have it be in your time zone, so you don't have to do the math.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, time, I think time in MongoDB is always UTC to make things easier with working with several time zones. So you would have to get a timestamp and convert it to the local time for displaying. Next change. Oh, where's my... Okay, let's say you want to debug a script. You may want to use the FileMaker debugger. So now you step over value and you ask yourself, what is the value for $image? You can, of course, take a few in the data viewer, and maybe you have here 20 variables and you have to look for the right one. There's an easier way, and that's holding the mouse over the variable on Mac. So for macOS, we have this extension, so we get the tooltips, which can be very useful. Same also for fields. So this field contains a container value, and the text representation is the file name, of course. And the result variable is also a container. So you can see what data type or value has and what's currently in it. I think the text is limited to show the first 100 or 200 characters, so we don't fill the screen with a huge tooltip. So yeah, you have to know this. But the thing a customer requested is to have here a context menu entry to copy the value. So not just to see it, but to get it on the clipboard, so you can copy the value, then go to your text editor and paste it. Yeah, and that's something we thought about it. They told us, well, you can show it, but no, I would like to do something with the value, and I don't want to type it myself. So the context menu is already there. It's quite useful to copy things like here the selected line, or do some copy, or also just have the plugin count how many lines you have selected. So
that is incredibly awesome.
Yeah, so I think the field thing is cool. The plugin just looks here for a double colon in the text, some letters before and after. So I'm not sure whether it works with spaces. But I don't recommend using spaces in field or variable names anyway.
It's a bad idea. No, that is incredibly freaking cool.
Yeah, and we came to the idea because we had it in the export dialog. So let's just go here to export. And you have been all in this dialog. And if you have a field there and you ask yourself, is that a container field? Should I export it? And you can just hold the mouse over it, and the plugin will tell you this is a binary field, which is a container. So we query the FileMaker SQL interface to get the field types and show them to you. And you see how many rows you have selected, which is also something people seem to need. So you can say here, row 2 of 2. And this is a text field, the last one here, the text field.
That is fantastic. Also, yeah, people are saying, I needed that yesterday. Yes, that's really cool.
Yeah, you could have installed the plugin yesterday and just, most people just find this by accident.
I don't realize it even exists.
So, okay, on the mail, you can copy the variable and field value via context menu. And you can sort your scripts. Yeah, that's something people seem to like. So let's make another script, AB, and then make one with set. So, and why can't I say, save this? Where are my names here? Usually I have numbers here. Okay. So there's here a sort by name. So you can sort by name. And if you use the option key, you can sort by name descending. And someone asked it for sorting by ID. And that's, you can press the shift key for ID or option key also for descending. So I can sort by ID, and I don't have an ID in this file for some strange reason. Oh, here, plenty of IDs. So I may have to figure out why the IDs are missing in this one. So there will be another plugin version coming with fixed ID number sorting. So I can sort by the IDs here. So all the scripts are there in the order they were created. But if I don't like this order, I can also change it. And as you see, it's a simple sorting algorithm, just telling FileMaker that you manually swapped scripts 200 times to get the new order. Some people put things in the script name, like the names start all with numbers. So you can say, I'm calling script 304. And you know, 300 scripts are all about printing and 400 is about exporting. So you can structure your solution and include those numbers in your script names and add some extra logic there.
I believe we do that in FMSP, and I think about it.
So the next thing is the photo picker. So if you need to take pictures from the photo library, you can use a plugin to do so. And this works now on macOS in addition to iOS. Then we updated the Java functions in the plugin. So you know that FileMaker just told us that the FileMaker works with Java 17. I already updated the plugin to work with 19 and 20. And I think FileMaker Server can work with 19 already, but they didn't test it, so I don't claim it works. But I installed a copy with 19 and it worked fine. So, but that's on your own risk. But
I just talked to Leland about our idea, by the way, of doing the part MonkeyBread thing and the part DAPI submit thingy. It's all mostly a MonkeyBread demo, and he's thoroughly interested in the idea. So we will see what happens with that, everyone. But I told him that's the problem with coming on TV and being great, like Christian Schmitz. People expect miracles from you all the time.
So next thing is we have here some Windows Media Foundation player functions, which basically allow you to play a video on a FileMaker layout without FileMaker knowing about it. So you can switch between records and it would start playing.
Oh, you know, so it's not in a web viewer, or it's superimposed over the layout?
So when the plugin creates a control, we put it on top of FileMaker stuff. FileMaker doesn't know about it.
So depending on what you do, FileMaker doesn't know about it, it can't mess with it. Perfect.
Well, yeah, sometimes it messes with it by removing it.
Yeah.
So,
I like that.
The thing here is, if you have a database which in some way relates to videos or audio samples, like MP3 files, you can use these functions to open the file and then read some metadata, like here the bits per sample, the channel count, or frame rate for video, or other things like how the length of the video, and maybe here get a picture for well, one of the frames. Like you may want to create previews of your videos this way if you use Windows. If you use Mac or iOS, we have the AV player functions, which basically do a lot of more, but those are for Mac and iOS because they use Apple's libraries. And yeah, so you would have to write a script for Windows and one script for Mac to do basically same things like loading a video, getting the length, maybe some metadata, and maybe a preview picture. So we have our archive functions. You may remember them from last version. And the thing I did here was adding support for the LZ4 algorithm to compress.
Can I ask a question about that? So there used to be something called 7-zip. It had a better compression format, but that's like 10 years old at least. So is this even better now? The Lima Zulu 4?
Actually, we can do 7-zip.
Okay, what's better?
7-zip is a container format like zip. So whether you have a zip, a tar, an R, a 7-zip, doesn't matter. It's all container formats. And then within the container, you have different compression algorithms like gzip or set standard, LZ4. And I just added here set standard and LZ4. So for more zip files or 7-zip files or archives you can now decode them. So by the plugin knowing more compression algorithms, you have more compatibility to stuff out there on people's computers.
Yeah, no doubt. That's
otherwise, you can, of course, just create zip archives on the fly for emailing people several files, for example.
And it'll just use the default, I'm sure, for that, right? So
yeah, we just use zip deflate, so we are compatible to people from 20 years ago.
Okay.
And then you can just add files or add containers, add text as text files, and then close the archive and then get the archive and send it as email. We do it all the time. Okay.
It's a little overwhelming. That's why people are quiet, Margaret. This is overwhelming if you actually think about the practical applications of all the stuff he's talking about here. I mean, I've only heard half of this conversation and my head's leaking from overload.
Okay, so next thing
question,
is,
Margaret?
No, we're good.
Okay. So we have a print to file function to make a PDF file from a web view. It used to work on Mac, then we got Windows support. And now we have the function here, set print parameter. So we can set parameters for printing. And for the new plugin, we can set the paper width and paper height for Windows. So if you have a piece of HTML code, HTML text on your FileMaker, and you like to make a PDF from it, you can use whatever size you want. You don't need to use something like a letter paper. And you can change the orientation and whether it should print backgrounds. So I think a few people will find this useful. Then let's take a look on the detailed release notes if we forgot anything. And maybe people have questions.
We do. What is the security if you need to send the PDF data to FileMaker server directly? Is that
that's something we will try. I hope this works with HTTPS, so it would be encrypted transfer. So I hope it does work with SSL.
But you don't have a demo. You don't have a demo for that.
No, we will make one for a future live stream.
How would you get it to the? How would you get the? Okay, what's the question again, Margaret? What is the?
It's about the PDF stuff. What is the security if you send the PDF data to the FileMaker server? Is it encrypted?
Okay, stop. How are you sending it to the file backup? The question is how? My question is, I want more data. How do you send it to the FileMaker server? You're saying you opened a file, a local FileMaker file that's on the server?
The idea was we create a PDF.
Yeah.
which has a submit action. So
Oh,
in
that
the
thing,
PDF
that.
viewer, yeah,
You're talking
press
about this hypothetical thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a DAPI request that goes to the data API. So it'd be, yeah.
So next things we have.
If you work on that, I'm going to loop you and Leland into it because Leland's our JSON JavaScript guy. So
we have a lot of smaller changes, like if any one of you uses Windows tablets with FileMaker Pro on it, and you have a software keyboard, you can show and hide this keyboard with the plugin. Sometimes
the Windows tablets are they running a full Windows 11 Pro? Is that what they're running? What do the Windows tablets run?
Yeah, the idea would be you have a Windows PC in tablet format with a touch screen, and you have a FileMaker Pro on it.
Well, it's not like the lightweight copy, because at one point they came out with those Surfaces and they had some sort of lightweight operating system that FileMaker didn't like or something. I can't remember what the issue was with that. That goes back 6, 7, 8 years, or 5 years anyway. It was back at the Wedge, back when Claris was before COVID.
Then our recognize text function, which we talked about several times already, to take text from a picture.
Yep.
Was updated to recognize PDF documents on Windows 2.
Yes.
So this is like get live text from FileMaker, but with additional Windows support and PDF support. So other things we have a few performance things for the script workspace. So if you use our script highlighting on Mac, it's a little bit faster. And I think that's all things we have for now.
Yeah, well, that's enough. We got a lot of demos to cook up. If you folks have thoughts or ideas, or once again, can I make suggestions? A, you should own this product. I do. And B, if you have, he has this. Why don't you just walk through this on your computer real quick? If they download the zip file from MonkeyBread, you're going to get this download, right? When you download it, you're going to get this directory right here. And in the directory is called examples. And in the examples is a ton of examples that demonstrate all sorts of things. The problem is there's so many examples in here, you might not be able to find it. My suggestion is send an email to support at monkeybreadsoftware.com. Does that work? Support at monkeybread. And then say, dear Mr. Christian, we love you so much. Is there an example on how I can turn a unicorn into a werewolf? And he'll go, yes, there's this plugin, this folder right here, and it demonstrates how to do that. But you have to use the plugin, you have to buy it, right? And of course you do. So he's really great at that. A number of problems I've had, I knew it could be solved, but I had to ask him like where to look. Once I had the example file, then I'm good enough to hack the code out of the example file and stick it and hijack the code and steal it, Grand Theft Auto, stick it into my file. And then the customer goes, Richard, you're so smart. You're amazing. And you're even good looking. And
real quick, Christian, before I wrap up, people wanted to ask for a quick recap on your script sorting. What are the hotkeys to get all the 3 options again?
That's simple because you can just press a key and see the menu switch over. So I press Shift key, I get ID. I press Option key, I get descending. And I can combine it. So Shift and Option key.
There you go, LL92.
So technically, the interesting thing is we have 4 menu entries here. And they are all alternative versions to each other and have this combination. So the operation system only shows the current one matching your keys. And since I'm using Shift and Option, I can later maybe make another option for control if you give me an idea what we could sort by.
For hovering over the script steps in debugger to see the values, is that available in Windows or is that Mac only?
No, this is a Mac only version.
So
that's because, well, that's another thing how to implement something like this. So this blue line is a row here as a box. So you can divide this box into subsections and define different tooltips for every subsection. And the thing I did was to make here blocks, little blocks over the line to tell the operation system every 50 pixels or so and there's a new block. And when you move the mouse over the block, we will check for the text below the mouse, which also requires a couple of calculations to make sure we know where the window is, where you scrolled, where your current line is, and then find the text below, and then look up if this text is a variable name or field name, then evaluate that to get the value and then show it to you.
So there you go, Lim. That would be your hack.
That's
Cool.
that's a thing I do on a weekend. You mind? That's a challenge. Like you give a programmer a challenge. You say, "Can you add a tooltip?" I say, "Yeah, well, I play with the APIs and see where we end."
He actually enjoys doing that, which is nice. Well, good job. Questions, Margaret?
Nope. Just thank you, Christian and RCC. Great session. Very useful.
Yeah, we need to get an outline. Make sure when the descriptions of these are online, like, die in a PDF, and then kind of, because this will be one where we have 20 lines of things he talked about, right? Zip compression for FileMaker, things like that, and then it'd be like that way when people search for it, they can find what they're looking for. It may not tell them exactly how to do it, but it'll say that MonkeyBread does this, and then they learn. They go to the MonkeyBread website and download the installer, which includes the examples. So there you go. Cool. All right. Good job, Christian Schmidt. Excellent work as always.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Always great to have you. Thank you very much.
Got a report of an individual up here who may be a FileMaker license. Well, it's potentially expired. Look at the back of that car right there. Looks like the FileMaker license has expired. Sir, I need you to step out of the vehicle. Sir, step out of the vehicle. Sir.